Hello everyone, paano kumpletuhin po ang discharge permit application form? Step number 1. As shown on the screen, yung atin pong step 1, general information ng OPMS discharge permit application form. Sa pag-apply ng discharge permit, lalong-lalo, meron tayong type of application. Ito po ang new or renewal. So kung meron tayong previously acquired na permit, we select here yes at makikita natin yung application type is renewal. And we need also to upload the latest copy of our discharge permit issued by EMB Regional Office. Now, kung wala pa naman kayong previously acquired discharge permit, you can just select no. Then dito sa type of wastewater, may mga pilian dito sa mga industrial wastewater natin kung tayo ay nasa industrial facilities, kung commercial establishment, at kung yung ating type of wastewater is purely domestic. So meron tayong mga tubig na ginagamit sa comfort room at maipa-flush natin sa ating mga toilet. Yan yung mga classic example ng domestic sewage. And then kung merong combination ng industrial and commercial wastewater, and then doon sa mga service provider, so we select that type of wastewater. So for example, commercial wastewater ang ating pipiliin. Now here, ang kasunod, we have the name of the owner or company. Then the office address indicating yung street, the region where the establishment is located or the office, and then yung province. Selection lang naman ito. And then yung city or municipality under that province and the barangay under that city. So mapapansin nyo, ito ay selection lamang. So we just select. And then, pagdating naman sa permittee address, yung particular establishment na ino-operate ng kumpanya o ng may-ari ng kumpanya. So dito ilalagay natin yung particular name of establishment. So for example, ABC Restaurant, yung kanyang location, yung street, the region, the province, the city, and the barangay. So, hindi naman mahirap kasi when you select yung region, lahat ng province in that region, siselect mo na lang dito. When you selected, halimbawa, yung province, dito naman sa city, lalabas naman yung mga name ng cities or municipalities under that province and same with the barangay under that city or municipality. We need also to provide the geolocation in terms of latitude and longitude. Para makuha mo yung latitude and longitude, gumamit ka ng Google Map. So, halimbawa, as shown on the screen, yung ating Google Map. Yan. So, halimbawa, ito yung location ng iyong establishment, yung coordinates, makukuha mo dito gamit lang ang mouse. So, right-click, bibigay sa'yo yung latitude, yung 13.94219, and then longitude 121.13681. So, click mo lang yan and then makokopya, ilalagay mo dito sa geolocation. Then we need also to provide the reference or control number indicated in our environmental compliance certificate or certificate of non-coverage and vice versa. You can indicate NA or not applicable kung hindi applicable yung hinihingi. Then we have the hazardous waste generator ID. Ito yung number na makikita mo sa hazardous waste generator registration certificate. So kapag meron ka registration as waste generator, ito yung ibinibigay sa'yo na number. Na kukuha yung generator ID number na yan through the hazardous waste management system as shown on the screen. So, kailangan mo lang mag-secure dyan. So, after mo ma-provide yung hazardous waste generator ID number, dito naman tayo sa industry category. So, sa industry category, meron tayong selection dito. Depende sa kung anong industry category. So, yung ating example ay restaurant. So, hanahanapin ninyo lang dito. Like this one, restaurants, food chains, bars, and other food or beverage services. So, yun lang. And then, the PSIC code, automatic na yan dyan mag-a-appear kung ano yung sinelect mong category. Dito sa kanan, meron pa tayo ditong TIN, and then yung ating year of establishment. So kung titingnan mo yung DTI or SEC registration, malalaman mo doon yung year, yung first time issuance ng DTI or SEC. Sa iba na wala nito, usually titingnan nila yung mga kopya ng kanilang ECC or CNC. So, mga equivalent document na lang yon. Ano? And then dito, the legal classification, we select depende kung proprietorship, kung DTI registered, proprietorship, then sa ownership terms, 100%. Kapag ka naman private corporation, then ownership terms private is 100%. Kapag ka multinational, meron tayong private na, depende sa composition, let's say 60% Filipino, then yung foreign ay 40%. Mapapansin nyo dito sa kabila, meron din ditong government. So kung wala naman tayo sa government institution, zero lang yan. Then dito, meron din tayong others na pwede nating sambitin. Ito yung LGU or SUC or GOCC. So kung yan ang mapipili nyo, automatic yung ownership terms instead of private is 60, magiging 0. Yung foreign ay 0 and then yung government is 100. So ang total lagi ng percentage sa government plus foreign plus private is always 100. So halimbawa, private corporation, private ownership terms 100%, tapos foreign 0, government 0. 100 lagi. Then dito, meron tayong name ng pollution control officer, and then yung telephone number, at saka kung ano yung fax number, and then accreditation number. And of course, kung ano yung accreditation date. Sometimes, di naman accredited, you leave it blank at ilagay mo dito yung date kung kailan mo nasubmit ang application for accreditation sa pco.emb.gov.ph. Now here, pwede mong sambitin, let's say 12 or December 11, 2025. Kung ngayon ka naman nag-apply, say 12/12/2025. So depende kung anong date mo na-submit ang application mo for PCO accreditation through pco.emb.gov.ph. Then dito naman, hihingin sa atin yung production workers and then non-production workers. So kung nasa mga processing and manufacturing industry tayo, talaga meron tayong production worker dito. At sa mga wala naman sa production or sa processing and manufacturing industries, nandito yung mga office and staff, personnel, utilities. So, lalagay mo dito yung number of workers sa non-production. So, siguro meron tayong nasa processing and manufacturing industry. So, ilalagay mo dito yung production worker kasama yung office staff and personnel natin. So, total kumbaga. And then dito sa production time, ito na yung operating hours per day. Depende kung ah, anong oras ang operating hours natin bawat araw. Let's say kung pure office lang yan, siguro yan ay 9 hours lang. So yung 8 to 5. O siguro yung iba hanggang 10 hours or yung iba 24 hours. So depende na yan sa ating operating hours. And then the number of days per month, like 30 days. Kung lalong-lalo Monday to Sunday tayo nag-ooperate. Then dito number of months per year, like for example 12. Then dito sa number of days with discharge per month. So dito kung kayo naman ay gumagamit lamang ng mga simple um, wastewater treatment system. So for example, ito yung ating building, tapos meron tayong mga discharges ng tubig galing sa mga floors papunta sa ating septic tank. Whether yan ay 2-chamber or 3-chamber septic tank. So, mapapansin mo rito, the number of days with discharge per month. Kung itong septic tank na to ay meron outlet, although pinagbabawal, o papunta ito sa ating drainage, sa ating mga public drainage. So, masasabi mo siguro na every day makakapag-discharge ka dito. So, although tinatanggal natin yung outlet dyan, kaya naman, maaaring yung number of days with discharge per month ay maging zero na lamang. So, sa iba, may mga bilang tayo every day, kaya masasabi mong 30 days. Okay? Now, kung kayo ay pipill up naman nitong water balance, kailangan naman dito yung monthly average volume and then daily average volume of water consumption. Depende kung anong source ng water supply. Gaya kung kayo ay nasa Metro Manila, served by Manila Water and Maynilad, dideclare mo dito ang monthly average volume. Average po ito. So for example, meron kang January to December ng taong 2025, may total kang water consumption na 1,300 o 1,200. I-divide mo lang siya ng 12 para makuha mo yung monthly average. So, kung i-divide mo yan ng 12, yung 12, ibig sabihin 12 months. So, makukuha mo yung monthly average. So, doon sa 1,200, total water consumption mo from January to December, i-divide nga natin ng 12, makukuha mo yung 100 cubic meter. Okay? So, dito ngayon natin ilalagay yan sa monthly average volume. Okay? So, dyan, ang gagawin natin, lalagay natin yung 100. So, that is our monthly average volume. Then, dito naman sa kabila, we have the daily average. I-divide mo naman ngayon itong monthly average mo sa number of days per month. Okay? Now, halimbawa, 300 yung monthly average natin. Saan naman natin siya i-divide? Dito nga, sa number of days per month. So, kung sisilipin natin yan, paano nakuha ang daily average? Itong monthly average volume, i-divide mo ngayon dito sa number of days per month. So, 300 divided by 30 para makuha mo itong daily average. Okay? So, parang lalabas ay 300 divided by 30. Meron ka ngayon daily average. So, ganun lang kasimple yung pag-determine kung yung daily average natin. Mapapansin mo rito sa total water consumption dito sa baba, automatic makikita nyo yung monthly average volume na 300 sa baba. At yung 10 daily average volume, makikita mo rin dito sa baba. Now, if you're in other places outside Metro Manila, meron tayong mga local water provider. Siguro ang iba gumagamit ng deep well, groundwater yon. Saka yung mga spring, groundwater yon. And then sa surface water, gaya ng lake, river, creek, rainwater, at others na hindi mo na talaga ma-identify dito. So, pag nalaman mo yung monthly average volume and then yung daily average volume, dito sa kabila, i-distribute mo ngayon itong 10 cubic meter per day to estimate yung ating wastewater discharge. So, ang gagawin lang naman natin, itong 10 cubic meter ay i-distribute natin into process wastewater, washing or cleaning, then cooling, domestic, ito yung mga ginagamit sa comfort rooms, etc. Then recycled reuse, and then others. So yung ating 10 cubic meter, i-distribute natin yan sa 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then ang magiging total din ay 10. So kung meron kang tubig na ginagamit daily, yan yung pumapasok, yun din yung i-discharge or lalabas. So bilang mga uh, pollution control officer, you must have your record. So kaya gumagamit ka ng mga water measuring device. Pero minsan wala tayong pang-record. Wala tayong measuring device. Kaya kaya nating i-estimate na lamang yung ating mga wastewater discharge. Technically, tinatawag natin siyang flow. So, ngayon mag-estimate ka ng flow. Ang pinakauna mong gagawin, you will get the 80% ng total water consumption. And you will allocate that sa domestic. Like for flushing of toilets. Pagka hindi mo kayang ma-measure, natatanggap naman itong theory na ito. 80% of total water consumption. Domestic. So kaya kung kukunin mo ang 80% ng 10, 0.8 times 10. Ang 10 na to, ito yung 10 cubic meter daily average. So, kaya meron ka ditong 8 cubic meter. So, after mo makuha yung total water consumption, kunin mo yung 80%, domestic yon, kaya 8. And then after mo naman makuha yung wastewater discharge mo for domestic, may natitira ka pang, in this example ay 2 cubic meter. Saan mo ngayon i-distribute naman yung 2 cubic meter? So for example, process wastewater 0.5, at yan ay estimate lamang. Ang kailangan mo ay maging balance lang yung water consumption mo sa wastewater discharge. So kaya yung 2 remaining 2 cubic meter, dinidistribute mo na rin dito sa iba pang mga generating process. So halimbawa, yung washing or cleaning of process equipment, kung ikaw ay merong ah, generation ng wastewater dyan. Sa cooling, kung meron. Kung wala, zero lang. Sa nire-recycle. Then others, siguro meron tayong leakages, product components, gardening, evaporation. Now, mapapansin mo meron kang 0.5 at mag-allocate ka talaga lagi sa others kasi yung mga leakages lalong-lalo. Lagi namang merong pwedeng leak. So, dito mapapansin nyo yung ating generating process dapat magiging total niya ay yung 10 cubic meter water consumption. 10 cubic meter yung discharge wastewater. In this case, balance. Now, pag may comment ang ating evaluator dito sa total volume of discharge wastewater dahil balanse, sundan mo lang yon. May mga chances kasi like itong others na ito, hindi na isinasama kasi baka ginamit for drinking. Kaya ang wastewater volume mo na lang, less na yung 0.5. Pero in our case, this time, gawin nyo lang siyang balance. Kung ilan yung daily average water consumption, yun din yung total volume of discharge wastewater. Ngayon, may mga chances din, kaya sabi ko, sundan nyo lang yung evaluator nyo. Like for example, sabi mo dito, halimbawa sa number of days with discharge per month, sinabi mo zero. Dahil gumagamit ka lang ng septic tank, wala kang discharge, walang outlet. Kaya kahit ma-distribute mo naman dito yung mga water consumption leading to wastewater generation, dito pinalalagay din dito zero. Total volume of discharge wastewater. Bakit? Wala ngang discharge pero may consumption. Ang tanong, nasaan na nga lang ito? Ito na ngayon yung sinasabing discharging water to body of water ba? So, hindi. Safe reuse of wastewater for irrigation, septic tank lamang. So, yan yung parang magiging ano nila, relevance. O, dito, not applicable, no discharge. And then dito, centralized wastewater treatment plant. So tayo ay magsiselect dito kung total volume of discharge natin is zero, most probably baka septic tank lang yung gamit nyo. At pagka naman nagkaroon ng comment sa inyo ang evaluator, like, hindi, dito ka sa body of water. Kahit ikaw nandyan sa septic tank lamang, di ka nag-discharge. So, ang tendency, magpapa-siphoning ka. ipaprocess sa treatment facility, i-discharge din. Kaya dito sa ating discussion, tang ano yun nyo, tingnan nyo kung may comment ang evaluator. Ano yung comment una? Una, yung total volume of discharge. Kung gumagamit ka ng septic tank, much better na ma-declare ito na zero. Dahil ang ibig mong sabihin, wala kang dinidischarge. Pero may mga ibang regional office says na yung total volume of discharge mo dapat balance dito sa water consumption. Kaya gusto naman nila gawin mo namang 10. Kaya nasa inyo po ito, bawat region. Ang punto, ang lagi namang may final say pagka in-evaluate na yan ng EMB, sila ang may say dyan. So, second, dito naman sa body of water. Kung dito, meron ka ditong total volume of discharge, eventually, nasa body of water yan. Siguro pupunta muna sa public drainage canal, then eventually pupunta sa river or sa lake or sa coastal water. Ngayon, pag nag-zero ito, dineklara mo yung zero dyan sa total volume of discharge, paano ka ngayon magsasabing discharging water to body of water? So, this is not final yung ating presentation nito dahil maaring magbari ito sa kung anong regional office kayo located o under jurisdiction. So gaya nito, total volume of discharge of wastewater, zero, most likely nasa not applicable or no discharge and or septic tank. Pero pagka naglagay ka dito ng numero just to balance yung water consumption at saka discharge wastewater. For example, ginawa nating 10 din ito. Yeah, mag-aano ka na rito, decide ka na rito. Syempre, body of water. Ang iba siguro, safe reuse of wastewater for irrigation. Ang default natin dyan, pagka meron kang discharge, body of water. Okay? Now, pagka ibinalik ni return sa inyo ang application nyo, sundan nyo lang. Di naman siya yung rejected na dahil nagkaroon ng inconsistency. Sundan nyo lang yung instruction ng evaluator. Okay? And then dito sa generating wastewater with heavy metals, kung may ginagamit kayong mga heavy metals like arsenic, mercury, cadmium, chromium, PCBs, yung ating mga lead, kung yan ay ginagamit nyo as raw material, most likely makakapag-generate kayo ng heavy metals. So dito, mag-yes kayo dahil pwede makontaminate yung wastewater ninyo ng heavy metals. Kung wala naman kayong heavy metals, edi you just select no. As exemplified in Dow 2014-02. At titingnan natin yung Annex 3. Ito, kung yung wastewater mo ay contaminated ng arsenic, cadmium, chromium, cyanide, lead, mercury, PCBs, formaldehyde. Ayan na. Pwede mo ngayong i-declare dito ng yes. Pero kung wala naman yun, just indicate no. And then dito sa dwelling units, sundan nyo lang yung hinihingi sa inyong information. Like kung kayo ay nasa hotel, condominium, restaurants, mall, etc. So kung applicable sa inyo yung hinihingi information, lagyan nyo ng information. And that's the end of step number 1. Ang suggestion ko, i-review mo yung name of owner at yung address. Yung name of establishment at yung address. And then, syempre, yung mga reference and control number dahil yan ang magiging basehan din pagka nag-submit ka na ng mga documents in step number 6, uploading ng mga required documents. So pagka nakita nilang inconsistent sa documents mo, yung reference number, i-return na naman sa iyo. Okay? Then, Yung ating water balance medyo critical dahil kailangan mong may basis dito gaya nung ating water billing statement for 1 year. Dapat makuha mo yung total and makuha nyo yung monthly average and daily average, and then you perform estimation. Okay? So that's step one of the general information discharge permit application form via OPMS. I hope nakatulong sa inyo yung discussion na to, and if you think na nakatulong, please like this video, please share this video, and you are also encouraged to ask question below. Thank you very much everyone, and God bless us all.